Hello and welcome to the super important show. Tonight we have Going to the Bathroom with Metallica. We have Reimagining Gumby. We learn about evil spirits. And we get into a whole bunch of Would You Rathers that we're super excited about. But first, I want to introduce you guys to my two amazing co-hosts. First, let me introduce you to the wonderful Heather Jules Booth. Heather Jules Booth, how are you?
I'm great, Dustin. How are you?
I am excellent, and we have another guest with us. If you saw him on, if you were watching this last week's How Should I Know, you saw him, and here he is again, Justin McElwee. Justin, how are you?
Everybody. Very well, sir. Yourself? Faring well in the past week? What have I missed?
Not much. I don't do a whole ton. So you didn't miss very much. Cool. Justin, tell people about who you are. They want to know.
Of course. Hey, everybody. Justin McElwee. I am late from New York. I live in rural, exceedingly rural, like big paw prints in the snow, rural Northwest Connecticut now. So it is a pleasure to be back with you all, even virtually. There is firewood to be chopped. There is snow to be chopped. There's a lot of chopping. Things need to be chopped.
It makes my heart sing that you were doing those things because to me you're both a man, but you're a fancy man, and I assume
I'm a fancy boy. Admittedly, I'm a fancy boy, as those of you know. I'm an exceedingly fancy boy. Look, I went with a cowl collar today. It's all getting loose. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's get into it. I'm saying that three different ways. Our first segment, World You Crazy. Heather, kick us off because the world's pretty crazy.
Oh my God, the world has decided to take us to a new level today. We have a Tampa man's toilet shaped like Lars Ulrich, which has been acquired by a Denmark museum. Yes, folks, this is a toilet shaped like the Metallica drummer. And before we show it to you, I just want everyone to take a moment, take a breath, and think to yourself, what might that look like? Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to match what it ends up being. Here's the backstory. A heavy metal musician based out of Tampa made a toilet to look exactly like, in fact, Lars Ulrich.
Exactly is a strong word.
So that's a good point. Exactly. It looks like it's an approximation. So I like that the article says the artist known as Prince Midnight donated this toilet to Ripley Entertainment, aka the Ripley's Believe It or Not, like conglomerate. The toilet will ultimately be relocated to Ripley's auditorium in Copenhagen to go on permanent display. The article wants us to know the toilet works and that last year it enjoyed a brief installment as part of a restroom in the Brass Mug, a Tampa bar and music venue. So people were able to relieve themselves inside Lars Ulrich. That's the thing. It happened. There's a couple more things I want to point out about this. This artist became known to Ripley's not for this, but because he approached the company with a guitar that he said was fashioned out of his uncle's skeleton. And the company was like, that's a little too much for us, but we'll take the Lars Ulrich toilet. And
I feel like illegal in some way. Are you allowed to do that?
You can bequeath for use.
Yeah, if it's your own family, I feel like it's okay. Yes. But they also, because it's a Danish rock star, they were like, you know what, we'll send that to Copenhagen. That works. This article wants you to know that the artist has insisted that, and I feel like this is going to be a pretty good time to segue into the picture, because the artist, Prince Midnight, wants you to know that this sculpture is not an insult. It is a tribute that he is a Metallica super fan, and he says, they wrote the first songs that meant something to me.
Of course.
This will now be featured in a gallery, not in the bathroom.
All right, I'm gonna go full on it first, and then I'll do it with our pictures. That way everybody can really
I've got another quote for you.
Yeah.
Prince Midnight chose Lars over the other members because, as the drummer, he is usually depicted sitting, so it was an obvious choice for this piece.
That's
what he wants everybody to know.
That is the thing. That is a very upsetting thing.
Okay, out of the gate.
Yeah.
Out of the gate. One, why is the toilet not white? Secondly, where does that mean you were pooping? Third, in his balls.
Yes.
It seems that way, yeah. It seems...
You are absolutely pooping in his balls. Oh God, there's so much I'm...
Right, that's what makes me so uncomfortable about this, is like that area where his crotch should be.
What about his facial expression? Because that's what also gets me. It's like
I will say, as you know, in my day, I've been known to ride the lightning. That likeness is not as far off as you would think. The eyes are a little too big, but he is from Norway, I believe, and he does have a little bit of a squadron face. The other thing that really bothers me is that he has his drumsticks with him. Which now, if you had done like thrown arms, you have a bit of more. But no, what this says to me is like
that. Maybe that would have been more interesting.
Yeah,
I'm on in 5.
Yeah, but why?
I gotta go.
And like, let's be real. The way he's holding his drumsticks is like, they're not quite a dick, but they're kind of dick suggestive. Like somewhat the way he's got them.
Yes, that's the suggestive portion of this.
It's pretty suggestive.
Oh yeah, I know when you put it like that, it's true.
Yeah,
but he's holding the tips of his drum over his heart.
Yeah,
the man loves a beat.
I also love that this artist put some muscles on him, but not throughout. Like just in his arms, I guess, because he drums.
That lines up. He's got a drummer's body.
Yeah,
he's got. He was also a semi-professional tennis player, Lars Ulrich.
Really?
The man is lean. He's lean.
Oh my God.
I want to say words, but I'm so like, just because like I'm not sure who the person is, who your target audience is, that like, I want to poop, but I want Lars Ulrich behind me.
Mean, it's a super fan. Like it's the superest of super fans.
No, but looking up out of politeness.
He is like, I know.
It's really just a chance encounter. You guys just kind of found yourselves together, and it's like, hey, bud. He's like, I know, man, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I know, I get it. It happens to me all the time. These are what my balls are like.
All the time. People just take a shit in me. It's so weird.
Do either of you a big enough fan of any celebrity that you would want them to be cuddling you while you poop?
No. I am not big enough celebrity or fan of any person to poop that closely.
Okay.
No,
Same.
I think even like my most favorite fandoms, like I'm thinking of like, I wouldn't even want like a Star Trek shaped, like an Enterprise shaped toilet or something. Like, no, that's
because
weird.
You're disrespecting The Office.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
You're disrespecting the rank.
There you go. Exactly.
And that's not an easy toilet to clean, especially. Like,
not with that, Matt. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah, and not in public use in Tampa.
No.
Heather, I feel like it's time to show us the artist here.
Please. Yes. So here we go, folks. Here's the artist cleaning this work of art. Yeah, here he is.
That is
night, he did do a nice finish on it. I've been watching a lot of the Great British Throwdown, which is a competitive pottery show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, he really hit the highlights in the hair.
Okay.
There is a bit of a spodge on the shirt, which I think that's just the lighting. But it looks like it's waterproof. It pretty much has to be. So credit for craftsmanship, if not life modeling, which is difficult.
There's some shading in the arms.
Yeah. That is exactly the guy who you would think would make this. I can't picture anybody else.
Well, honestly, it goes one of two ways. Like, it's either going to be exactly this, or it's going to be like, I don't know, somebody the complete opposite of this. Like,
or life perfect. To the point where you're like,
oh my God, this thing is just.
I'll take the interpretation.
Right. So my question to both of you then is, I'm assuming neither of you would pay for this. So the question is, how much would you need to be paid for this to be the predominant toilet in your home?
Do they do the install?
Yeah, they do the install. It's just like this one day, you go to work, you come home, and Lars is just sitting in your bathroom Like, and you have enough room. Like, I'm going with that conceit that you have enough room that, like, he can spread out.
Does the toilet work?
Yes.
Like, it runs, it works.
Oh, it's plumbed. It's definitely plumbed.
I take a monthly stipend towards this.
Okay.
Fine. I don't like it, but it could just be like a weird quirk.
All right.
I would only take it under the proviso that Lars Ulrich came over and used it once, and I got that picture that I could then put behind the toilet in the bathroom.
Fair. I'm sure he would. I have no doubt that this is something he definitely wants to be associated with all the time, and he definitely wants his picture taken pooping in front of it.
I have to say too, I like that the artist is literally making the quintessential, if you were like, picture a dude who's making a rock face and looks like a rock, and it's 100% this is what this guy's doing. Yeah.
Do we want to move on? Do we want to scrub this from our brain?
I see what you did there. Yeah. I think we're ready.
Yeah, I think let's send it over to Justin. You've got a story for us. What do you got?
I do, courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter, which is not something I read regularly enough. So when something comes over the transom, you got to give it a look-see. I don't want to bury the lead. I'll come back around, but guess who's back, everybody? Guess who's back? Come on. Guess who's back? Gumby. Gumby is back.
Because so many people have been clamoring for it.
We've been waiting
for Gumby.
Yeah.
In a press release that I just want to skip down a little bit. Terms of the deal, which was not announced, sure, of course, in a release written in green Comic Sans, Gumby is back. Fox has bought the rights to the Gumby franchise from the McClokey family, so they don't just get Gumby, they get Pokey, they get Prickle, they get Goo, they get the Blockheads, they get Gumbo and Goomba, Gumby's parents, they get Minga, Professor Cap, Denali, an elephant that I guessed before I saw the picture, they get the Grooby, they get Nopey, they get Terra, and finally, presumably, they get movie rights and performance and manufacturing for the Clayboys, which is Gumby's band.
Oh my
God.
God.
Fox has decided to buy Gumby, and they're going to do something different from Gumby. And I got to tell you, as somebody who watched a little bit of Gumby, they should.
Yes.
The idea is that they're going to reimagine Gumby. They're going to bring it to a whole new audience. All of the Gumby heads who are out there are probably on dialysis or at least have blood sugar issues. So we got to bring it out to a younger crowd.
Yeah. For our younger viewers that are not familiar with Gumby, let me just bring up a quick image. This is
our guy. This is our guy. Yep. This is later Gumby. Early Gumby did not speak. This Gumby, because of the mouth, I did some research, does speak in a high-pitched, squeaky voice, and walks along the ground, sliding his feet like a forward moonwalk, which was the most exciting thing about Gumby, was the way that he moved around the set.
Yeah.
So we're getting back into the game. We're getting back in the game in a big way. It's not just TV. It's not just streaming. It's not just live action combined with animation, which is what Fox Studios is looking to do. We're going NFTs, baby.
Oh, God.
We're going. It's not that you can just get Gumby. You can get Pokecoin. Pokecoin, probably the minute I said it, just popped into existence. And Gumbo and Gumba Coin is quick behind. Cash out your Ethereum, get into Gumbo Coin, and Gumbo Coin. This is depressing for a variety of reasons.
Normally, I would say that we don't make any official financial recommendations on this show, but in this case, I say go for it. You have to buy. Take all your money.
Get out of Ethereum.
Yeah.
Get out of the ape one with the faces. Get out of it. Gumby is coming back, and as near as I can tell, there are 16 variations that we can work on. Actually, and I know we're going live. Let's just cut this now, and then we can figure it out, because we can start minting it, because I've been doing some research, so we can just get back on the case. So the idea is just not to bring them back, but is to reimagine them. They want a new direction for Gumby. Now, having done some research, the prior direction for Gumby is being Gumby. So at this point, I feel that there's going to be something else. There's going to be some kind of angle on it. They're looking. Gumby's going to figure out some things about himself. He's going to have some heart-to-hearts with Pokey.
Jeez.
They're going to figure out some things. They're not going to talk about climate change because it's Fox.
It's Fox, so no, yeah.
But there's going to be a ton that's going to be piped into your eyes and ears for the foreseeable future. The future looks bright. The future looks green. The future is Gumby. Can I tell you something that I looked up?
This is the second story that I'm practically speechless on.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a thing that I looked up because you know me.
Yeah.
I love a little bit of research. I was like, okay, pull me up some Gumby. All right, so I went on YouTube while it's still available. Check it out now. Don't bother. It's boring. There's an episode called Gumby's Trip to the Moon, which is longer than Georges Méliès's voyage to the moon.
Nice.
Gumby's trip takes 15 minutes 65. Méliès did it in 15 and a half. Let me tell you about storytelling.
Yikes. I just don't. How does one reimagine Gumby? Like, what?
Yeah.
Gumby is a product of his time. What is the reimagining?
This is a bad time.
Yes.
Right, but
accurate.
But I'm assuming it's the I'm assuming it's the grittier. Like, I'm assuming they're going Fresh Prince on this. Like,
But it's Fox, so I don't. What's the worst Gumby's gonna do?
I mean. Probably drugs.
Become a communist?
Pokey's gonna die early. I mean, that's where we're going, right? Pokey is gonna die early.
Yeah.
Pokey's gonna be in a pile of quicksand.
Course, famously, Eddie Murphy not yet attached, but it is only a matter of time if you consider the projects that you can take him away.
Michelle is suggesting that Gumby is an action hero now.
Sure.
You know what? It could be. I'd love to see it.
He would not be able to set off a motion sensor.
Yeah. Another good suggestion. Breaking Bad, but it's Gumby. Again,
fair enough.
if you don't change the scripts at all, and you just make that one change, I might watch it. And I admittedly have not watched Breaking Bad to begin with, but
well, I can tell you again. I went into the archives, and there is a sequence from. Let me make sure I get the name right. That's right, Grub Grabber Gumby. Because my first question was, what does Gumby eat?
What does Gumby eat?
What does Gumby eat?
He eats everything. There is a scene in this film when he is strapped to a chair with ice cream cones rotating around his head, smacking him in the face as he inflates. As Gumby gets bigger from his eating, a la Clockwork Orange, there are things there to mine. I do not feel that Fox Entertainment is going to be really getting the gold.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully a Fox exec is watching right now. Bring us in.
I'm certain.
We'll make it. We'll make it work.
I can break that story. I can break that story wide open.
Michelle is suggesting that perhaps Gumby can eat other Gumbies, making it very, very horrifying. And
he stretches. I mean, there's a lot of fun there.
Yeah, and Joy asking the question is, how does he stay so thin?
Because he can change his shape.
Yeah,
that's why.
Because he controls what he looks like. He could look like anything, and he chooses that. Which is, I mean, good for them that they were like, hey, let's do a claymation thing and go with the simplest conceivable design anyone could make.
Which makes sense because claymation is time-consuming and expensive.
Right.
And so it's not going to be that. It's going to be CG pixel Gumby. It has to be.
Yeah, it's going to be scary CGI. It's going to be something horrifying. And it's going to have like a horrifying VeggieTales kind of face. Like the face is going to... Yeah.
But it's like you buy Gumby because you want to like cash in on the nostalgic aspect. But I have never met a human being that was like, I need more Gumby. You
never met a big Gumby head.
No.
Yeah.
Never. No. So like all I know is people who are going, like, Jesus Christ, no, I would never. That was a thing that happened in the past, and that's where it belongs. So I'm not sure where the benefit is. Yeah.
That Pokey gang, they out there.
Yeah.
They out.
God. I did not realize there was so much to the story. I am wickedly impressed with all of the research that you did on this. It is insane. And I
get in the face.
I
looked into the face of Gumby.
So will either of you watch it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would just see what it does. Yeah,
Just to know, yeah. Okay.
just to see.
I mean, Voyage of the Moon is rights free at this point. If they just put Gumby into that, I would watch it.
All right.
I would watch it in a heartbeat.
I'm gonna keep us moving on because I feel like we could do like 8 hours on Gumby.
You talk about Gumby forever.
Okay, we got a fun fact from our chat though, from Michelle saying, "Fun fact: the voice of Gumby was the mother of Allison. I don't know how you say that. Who played Natalie Olson on Little House on the Prairie? I did not know that.
Nor I.
Yeah.
Can we get her back? Now, the minute I said that, it was like, no.
No, probably not.
Is it June something? Is that her name?
She was also the voice. Apparently, she was also the voice of Casper the Friendly Ghost. Michelle with all of the fun facts. And if you're not watching live, feel free to throw some of these. If you're watching it after the fact, feel free to throw some of these things in the comments because we'd still like to hear from you. We'd still like to interact with you. And you're probably just as horrified, excuse me, as we are right now. So please be horrified as a community together. Let us move on now. Let us move on. We've been having a lot of fun tonight.
Too much, one might say.
Too much fun. It's time to get serious for a moment, because apparently, according to legend in Japan, evil has entered the world. Something called the Killing Stone has split and sent a demon into our world. It could be fake. It could be true. We don't know. All I know is I've been watching a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer lately, and it definitely means that there's a demon coming. So I want to give you guys the backstory on this, except I accidentally deleted all my notes. So where did you go, notes? Oh, there we go. Okay. So in Japan, there was this rock called the Killing Stone. And the basic backstory of it is it's believed that inside the stone was the corpse of, I got to lean into this, I'm going to say it wrong, so just go with me. Tomoa Momei, a beautiful woman who had been part of a secret plot hatched by like a bunch of like feudal warlords to kill the emperor at the time, Emperor Toba, who ruled like 1107 to 1123. They tried to do this revolution. It didn't work. According to legend, it turns out that this beautiful woman wasn't a beautiful woman after all. She was an evil nine-tailed fox spirit, and when she was ultimately killed, her body was put in there, but it was constantly seeping out some level of death. So anybody who touched the stone was definitely going to die. Scary story to begin with, but the real truth is that the rock actually broke open this last week. So now, according to legend, her spirit is roaming the earth and killing anybody that it touches. So we need to be worried. The other small possibility is that some cracks had been forming. So some very naive people think that maybe rain got in there and it split the rock in half. Mm-hmm. That's also a possibility. Probably not what actually happened. But my point is, if you're in Japan, look out. And if you're here, because presumably a nine-tailed fox spirit can get to the U.S. just as easily as anywhere else. You know, with COVID restrictions coming down, it's something we need to be careful of.
You can't fly without ID, man.
Yeah, but that's because you're not a spirit. Like I imagine
you can't fly without ID.
And you don't think that a nine-tailed spirit can find a guy and get a fake ID.
You can't get a phone without an ATM card. I ain't worried about this. We'll be all right.
So you think as long as we're not in Japan, we're okay?
Yeah.
That's.
I think we're cool.
So what should the people of Japan do then?
Well, I think they should stay indoors because I think it's always a good way to go. But I think we should recognize the fact. Are you going to put up a picture of the rock?
Yes, I will. Let me get the rock.
Call out the fact specifically that I think the fear is a little bit overblown, and I am very much a sky is falling type of cat.
Yeah.
But if you look close at this rock, which is dead center where you see the two things, that rock is full of delicious caramel.
Right, because spirits leave behind caramel. Where do you think we get caramel?
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying we're overblowing this fear. Fear not the nine-tailed ghost. That rock is full of delicious caramel. Easter is coming up. Do the math. Follow the money.
So your argument here is that this didn't really happen, and this is a very deep Cadbury like promotion that they're trying to get ahead of it, and people go, oh, look at that, I really want one of those like weird eggs that has like goo in it. That's your.
Do you have any idea how many major corporations have events-based marketing teams? Follow the money.
I mean, I don't have an argument against that. Like that's a
Cadbury boy.
Right.
Oh,
that is a way better possibility than it being an evil spirit. So, I think we got to leave it there. I mean,
and she was wronged. We know that, right? We know she was wronged. I feel bad. When you first told us about this, it was like, hey, this is what's happening. I was like, oh, great, Sacred Rock broke up and there's a monster on the loose. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Cool. Do we want to move on then? Because I feel like we hit this.
It's Cadbury.
Yeah.
We know it.
Yeah. I feel like we know what it is now.
Like instead of Big Pharma, it's Big Cadbury.
Yeah. Big chocolate.
Big chocolate. Yeah.
Which brings us then to our next segment, which is What the Fact, where I present you guys with 3 weird facts. You guys try and guess which is the right answer, and Chad plays along and tries to guess what the right answer is too, which I'm very excited about. So here we go. Our first question. Of course, the wonderful Batman versus Superman. Who said the movie Batman versus Superman is what you get when you run out of ideas? Other than almost anyone. But a very specific person said this, and I will give you options. Was it the star, Ben Affleck? Was it the writer, David Goyer, or the director, Zack Snyder, who said this movie is what you get when you completely run out of ideas? And Heather, I will go to you first because I know your love for this movie that you probably have not seen.
I have seen this movie. This movie's ridiculous. I'm gonna go with the writer, mainly because just having known enough writers in my life, they seem the most likely to just be like kind of shitting on the thing and being sort of down about it and being like, look, I wrote this thing and this is what you write when you get like, I just feel like of all 3 things, the writer is the person that's going to be the most likely to say that.
Okay.
My second choice would be the director. My least choice would be the actor. I feel like actors are so trained by Hollywood to be like, don't insult anything, be appropriate. So I don't think that Ben Affleck would say that even if he thought it.
Okay. From the chat.
Let's chat thing.
No, I keep doing the wrong thing. What am I doing here? There we go. Chat, Joy's saying all 3. Michelle's saying all 3 as well.
Could be.
It could be because I do that sometimes. But Anoush is agreeing with you. Anoush is saying she thinks it's the writer as well.
It just feels like such a writer thing to say.
I was hitting the wrong button so many times. Sorry. Cool. All right, Justin, what's your thought?
I would have to say, who said it is probably David Goyer for a lot of the same reasons. Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder never runs out of ideas because they are the same idea. Mm-hmm. And Ben Affleck, at a certain point, any one of us, you get through the test, you get through the meetings, you get to the fitting, you do costume tests, you do makeup, and then you go, I'm Batman. And even if that's not the same voice that he used in the film, he had the moment. He bought the ticket. He took the ride. So I gotta say David Goyer.
No. See, you have the moment where you go, what's the one thing that they share? I'm not gonna spoil it. I guess just in case no one's seen it, but. That was for me the moment where I just like I remember sitting in that theater just going, oh come on.
That's on David Goyer, but that is canon.
It died, yes, I know, but it's dumb.
I get you though.
I'll see you. Jumping back to chat for a minute. Michelle is saying, all joking aside, she's going to go with B. So far everybody's kind of on the at least B, maybe all of them.
Watch us all be wrong, and it's going to be freaking Ben Affleck.
I do have to disagree with Anoush saying that writers are so happy. No, No, I mean, I think that was a sarcastic comment. Yeah.
I believe that is sarcasm.
Yes.
I'm taking that as sarcasm.
Yes. So the correct answer, actually, y'all did get it, is the writer David Goyer.
Yes.
But in this case, he actually said that 2 years before he wrote the movie. He said, this would be an awful idea. This is what you would do. And then he got a check to write the same movie that he said was going to be awful. And it turns out he was very right. Cool. All right, let's move on to question number 2. The word dude originated in the 1800s to do what? Where does the word dude come from?
Justin knows.
I think there's a chance he probably does. Was it to greet fellow soldiers who they were friends with? Was it to insult men who were overly concerned with fashion trends? Or C, was it to describe young people who were both lazy and irresponsible? And I'll go to you first, Justin, because I feel like you might know this.
I have a guess.
Okay.
I think I knew what it was, but yeah, in the 1800s, a dude would be or at least in the in America or the American West at the time, duded up. So dressed like a duke was the provenance of it, but then it became to do. So that was wearing your frippery with your spurs and your thing. You weren't you looked like a cowboy, but you weren't a cowboy. You dressed like a cowboy. No head for the hat, as they would say. So I'm going to go with B. B
okay,
is going to be my guess.
Okay, and you do have some support in the chat. Michelle's also going with B. Joy's going to go with C, though. She thinks it's a way to describe people who are both lazy and irresponsible. And Jeff, who I'm getting it right this time, Jeff in the chat says B as well. Heather, are you going to go with Justin's fancy pants idea?
So it's interesting because at first I went for like the more what I think is Eurocentric idea of like, I was like, weren't overly fancy men like dandies or fops, but I think that was like the European version, right? And then when Justin said that about the American version, I'm like, oh, now I think it's that. At first I was going to say C, but now I feel like I've got to go with B.
Okay.
Justin has sold me on that.
All right, and you were wise to do that because it is in fact B. This way to insult men who are overly concerned with fashion, which feels like the opposite of what it became. But it is.
That's very cool. I didn't know that that's where that came from. That's very, very cool.
Yeah. I'm impressed, Justin. I'm impressed with your historical knowledge there, and just sure. I mean, again, I shouldn't be. You have all those books, so
that is true. Yeah, I got them, and you guys know how I used to dress. I know what a dude looks like. I know what studs are.
Fair.
Sunday best on a Wednesday. Come on now.
And Jeff wants to point out that he was there. He knew the answer because he was in the 1800s. You're not that old, but I will let Joy make fun of you for being that old. All right, moving on to our last question. Michigan offers unicorn hunting permits, but you officially can't hunt them when which of the following is happening? And again, before we get deeper into this, Joy, I want to point out nobody should be hunting unicorns. Like, it's just an interesting thing. Nobody's going to be hunting unicorns because I know the minute you hear unicorn hunting, you're very upset. Nobody will do it. So, during which of the following events can you not hunt unicorns? When they are shooting rainbows out of their butts? When they are eating lollipops and candy? Or when Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are around? Keeping in mind that at least one of these is true.
Does this exist?
Yeah.
Law exists.
Heather, go for it. I was right. Joy is freaking out. She thanks me for letting her know that I'm upset.
I mean, I feel like whoever wrote this joke is a troll, or not this joke, this law,
right,
is a troll, and therefore I'm gonna go with C, which to me is the most troll answer of all three.
Okay.
So, although all three are like levels of trolling, but
okay.
I feel like that's the ultimate level. They're like, well, you can't hunt those unicorns when Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are around. That's not how Michigan people sound, but
all right. But I will say, Anush in the chat is suggesting it is eating lollipops and candy.
Lollipops and candy.
Yeah. So if you want to go against Anush, I guess you have that option. Michelle is saying it should be all three, but she's going to go with C.
Sure.
So
fair enough. I would have to say, I mean, looking at this with the eye of what would the legislation say? It's definitely B. But the other part of this that kind of tilts me over to C is that classically and canonically, a unicorn can only be caught and tamed by a virgin, and they can take a lock of their own hair and use it as a bridle. Now, which says to me that if you are still concerned with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, you're not going to be out in the field at 3 a.m. with your unicorn haul waiting in the blind. So I gotta say, you can't get them while they are feeding. So I'm gonna go with B.
You're going to go with B. Okay.
Wow,
I mean,
I love the journey to that.
right.
Yeah.
The logic stands, and you supported
Watertight.
you supported your lady.
Watertight.
You supported your lady as well, which is always a good choice to make. Unfortunately, this time you were wrong. It is Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny when Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are around.
Fair
So
Did they give a reason why?
they did not at least as far as I was able to.
Because canonically, a unicorn can only be.
Because they're trolls. Because I wrote this law. That's why.
You went to Michigan and made a local law for you to permit hunting.
100% the kind of bullshit I would do. I would be like,
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna put this law in their legislature, and I'm gonna double down on this law.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, you know, Joy, I certainly don't want to speak crosswise, but a horse with a horn on the tip of their head is very scary. Horses are scary when you get close to them. They're scary. They're so big. They're so big.
I would be careful because Joy might come attack you.
I'm saying.
Michelle, Michelle wants to brag for a minute and say that she got all three, and she's very proud of herself. And she should be. She should be. They were hard, weird questions that nobody should know the answer to. Justin,
and let's not forget deep cut Gumby knowledge on the back of it. If there's an MVP, draws. Full stop.
Yep. Thank you for crushing it as you normally do in the chat, Michelle, and when you were on the show. All right, which means we have hit the time where we move into our third segment of the day, which is Would You Rather. I think I have the little segment header thing, or not. Maybe I do it. Oh, you're getting all slow and weird. Heather, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So our first question today is going to be: Would you rather be really lucky or really skilled? What would you prefer? And I, as our guest, I will throw it to Justin.
Thank you. Okay, out of the two, I have to say, I've got two very short pieces of information. I would like to be really skilled because I am already exceedingly lucky. And that's something that's kind of carried through my entire life, actually, when you kind of take stock of where you are and what you're doing. When I moved to New York in '99, I, on a whim, called my old friend Jack Lamb, who was not watching the show tonight. Not his fault. He has kids. He's got things to do. And I checked in with him. I was like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, I'm here. You're here. What's going on? The day before, an assistant that had accepted a job offer to work for him had rescinded it. And that's how I got my job in New York that allowed me to stay in New York. The other follow-up is when I met Anush, we met at the Magnet Theater, hit it off. She skipped town. I thought I would never see her again. It was a year later that we ran into each other yet again. And I was like, well, I have to ask her out now because I will never get the chance again. So at every opportunity where I could have taken a sideways look, I've been exceedingly lucky. Also because, as you guys know, my belief in my abilities far outstrips my actual abilities. So I'm going with skill just because it would be a new thing. But I'm the luckiest man on earth every day. And I know everything in my demeanor countermands that, but it is true.
And I'm assuming that the reason Anush skipped town was because she was on the run from the law.
Yeah, and she had met me too. So she's like, there's nothing left for me in this town.
Okay. All right.
Well, so she had to go in search of the Lars Ulrich toilet first,
Yeah, well, there's that.
Yeah. All right. Heather, I guess I would say who's next, but there's only me.
Well, I threw it out first, so I'm throwing it to you, Dustin.
Okay. I would go with lucky. And I say that because because I find that like if my goal is, you know, if my goal is like career success, like, because at this point, like I've already, like I've got joy, I'm very, very lucky there, but so like I don't think skill would have helped there anyway, but lucky, I've found that in career success that people, like, it's nice to have skill, and a skill will create a certain amount of luck, but like luck really, you know, so many times, like that kind of thing. Like, for example, like it's similar to what Justin was saying, like I'm very pleased with my career in comedy. Or at least I'm pleased, like that it happened, that I'm working towards comedy, and the only reason I am is because I left the bathroom at the exact time that my roommate was going to a comedy audition, and I was gonna go, but then I didn't, and then I saw him go, and I was like, all right, screw it, I'll go. And then I met like some of the best friends of my life, that those friends that allowed me to do the job that I'm doing and allowed me to sort of get into comedy. So like I would be in economics, I would be like a businessman if it wasn't for a certain amount of luck there. And like, if I could have even more of those, great. So I think that like getting continuously lucky would be the way I would want to go. Heather?
I think I might go with skilled, just because I feel like the skills, if I were better at certain things, I could succeed more at certain things, and that would be like just as good as having luck, especially because luck is like random versus I feel like with skill you could like choose to, because I'm going to assume for the argument of this would you rather, it's like if you're really skilled, it's like you decide you want to get skilled at a thing and you can.
Right.
I think that's cool. I think I would rather that, because I'd like to be like, oh, that's a thing I'm not good at, and if I could get good at it, I could do better at this other thing, which might actually help advance me with different like thing that I would like.
Sure.
Okay.
So I think I got to go with skilled.
Yeah. I think the question comes to like what are those skills? Because I used to be a very good pool player. Doesn't come up often. In fact, anywhere where there's not a pool table, it doesn't come up at all.
But I do see your yearly family pool tournament
that is true.
Pictures, and I think you dominate.
Number 1, 2007, second place.
Okay, all right. Going back to chat for a minute, Joy is saying I'm already lucky, but I'll go with skills, which are different than skills with an S. Skills with a Z.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Skills with a Z.
Right.
All day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will definitely take skills with a Z. So good call out on Joy. That should have been an option. I regret my decisions. Cool. All right. So chat. I'm gonna guess that chat represents the choice. So I'm gonna give another point to skills, which means it looks like skills wins, which means I'm on the outside looking in on this one. But you guys are.
But you're lucky, so. That's
I'm lucky. So it'll all be fun. Yeah. Which means let's send it over to Justin for your question.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for the team. Get an accessory round, which I quite like. So these are things that you would rather have. What would you rather have? Would you rather have Spider-Man's webs? Would you rather have Doctor Strange's cloak? Or would you rather have Wonder Woman's lasso of truth? So web shooters, mystical cloak, or Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. To start us off, I'm going to go to Dustin. Dustin, what would you prefer?
And I do want to point out before I answer that the last 3 shows we've had 3 choices, and I didn't have a graphic to support it, and I spent an hour today making a graphic to support it. So now we can legitimately show 3 options. We can't show the votes while we're doing that, but hey, progress is being made, and deal with it, everybody. I mean, depends on what I'm going for, but I feel like Cloak of Levitation, with the thought process being I could essentially borderline fly with the web shooters, but at any moment I could screw it up and die because I hit the wrong building. The building structure isn't good. I don't get it fast enough, But Cloak of Levitation, I'm pretty much good. I wear the cloak, I levitate, yay. I can't pull things to me the same way that a person with a web shooter could, but like I like that feels like a thing that I wouldn't do that often anyway, because then you still have web around, you know, and like you're spending all day cleaning up web.
After a couple of hours, it fades after a couple of hours. Don't worry about it. It dissolves. It dissolves.
I didn't realize it, but still, like, you know.
Who are you talking to, Dustin?
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I think the lasso of truth would be cool, but I just don't think it would come up that often. So I think being able to levitate, and if you're talking about that cloak of levitation, like it also like beats the crap out of people. Like it's got its own personality. It's like having a pet, based on what I've seen from the movies. So I think having like a little pet cape that, you know, could also make me fly. Like that's where I'm going.
Absolutely. So mystical cloak of levitation for you, Dustin. Over to you, Heather. What's your pick?
I'm also going with the cloak of levitation. Absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me of like what Dustin was saying. It's kind of like the rug in Aladdin. It's like cool, and it's going to fly you places, and it's going to have a little personality. You know, I'm the person that when we had that question that was like fly 5 feet, I was like, I'll still take it, even though it won't get above traffic. Sure. I still took it because I'm down with that form of transport. So yeah, I like that. Lasso of truth, like I don't care. And web shooter, I like, much like Dustin, I don't trust it. I feel like it would break. I feel like like has cool possibilities, but I'm also not someone who wants to like bungee jump. So likewise, I'm like, no.
Sure,
but the cloak's cool. I like.
I approached all of these as if it was me, as a human man. So web shooter is a dislocated shoulder. That's just what that is. The math doesn't work. The tensile strength is too strong. You have to be Spider. I was like, no, I'm not Spider-Man. I've just got the thwip. All right, if I've just got the thwip, all I'm doing is using it 3 times, going, oh, okay, well, I have this now, and now I don't know what else to do with it, because I can't swing from a tree, now.
Yeah.
Same methodology goes with the lasso of truth. It's an unbreakable lasso that if you whip it onto somebody and wrap them up, they will tell you the truth. There's a lot of bad things about that. One, unbreakable rope just means broken arms. Secondly, who needs the truth? So I go with the cloak of levitation for those exact same reasons. And in my personal case, I'm not going to turn down a jazzy accessory that makes the transition from day to night. Cloak of levitation, trifecta, 3-banger. That is sensible thinking.
Yes.
All right. Let's head over to the chat to see what the chat has to say about it. We'll cut to Joy first. Joy is saying she's torn between the cloak and truth. I think Justin made it just an unbelievable argument for cloak, so I think you should probably go there. Anush has your back. Anush has your back on this, saying that cloak of levitation. Michelle has a question that is barely fits in our graphic, which is, are the organic web shooters from the Sam Raimi movie, or so if you can't right now? Okay, so the assumption is that they're just forever ones.
It was a fair question, because if you're having a thing that you just have to fill, I took it as that you would have organic web shooters, but it would be the same thing, because then if you could do the web fluid, you could probably do better things with it at this point. Yeah. So I took it as organic because putting in the cartridges is fine for a story device, but not real life. You're going to miss the bus, right? You're going to miss the bus.
And Anush wants to back you up once again, saying it's true. You can wear it with anything. If you work to the gym, you're going to seem weird. But other than that, I think I would go with that.
Not when you're on that incline press and you don't need a spotter, my friend.
Fair argument.
Think about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Which brings us to our final question of the day. I guess we're going with Cloak of Levitation is the winner. And that one, it seems like that one won pretty handily.
Right, yeah. Cloak landslide. Yeah.
Which brings us to our third question. Here are your options. You can either choose to never sleep and never need to sleep. It's not a thing where you're just like being tortured and eventually you go crazy. It's you take sleep out of your equation, so you get 8 hours or 6 hours, however many hours you sleep in a given night, back. You're never tired. You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. You have a full 24 hours to yourself all the time. Or you can go through the rest of or you can go through the rest of your life never feeling any pain. You are aware of things that would hurt you. In other words, like you become aware, like if you hold a hot pot, that like, oh, it is burning my hand. I don't feel the pain of it burning. I'm just aware that, hey, I shouldn't do that because it'll wreck my hand. Mm-hmm. But you don't have like the pain associated with it. Which do you choose in this case? And then I will ask a follow-up question, which makes it really two questions. Mm-hmm. Is if the pain is both emotional and physical, does that change your answer? And I will go to Heather first.
Wait, what? I like how you just set up that question. You went, oh, and by the way, here's this addendum to this question that is like an extra layer.
Right. Well, answer the initial question and then go with the addendum.
I actually don't think your addendum's going to change it because I think I'm going with I would rather feel no pain.
Okay.
I like sleeping. I enjoy sleeping. I'm not one of those people who's like, if only I didn't have to sleep. I like it. So I don't like feeling pain. And I trust myself as a human to know to like not do a thing that like I'm not going to be like, haha, I can't feel pain. Gonna stick my finger in fire. Like I'm not going to do that. What? I see Justin going.
But what do you like about sleep? Like what is it about sleep that you enjoy?
It's great. You get to lay down, shut your brain off, not think. Like once you get past any anxiety you might have that like keeps you awake, once you're like actually asleep, it's restorative.
I mean, maybe your brain will like make you into have some kind of crazy nightmare, and then like your time of rest is where werewolves are coming at you every time you open a door. That happens to me sometimes.
I touche, but still like sleep.
All right. I guess because you've never had the dream where you're in my grandma's basement, and every time you open a door to a closet, there were werewolves in there. So like it's a rough one, is all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
But feel free to go with your feel no pain.
I will. Thank you. I'm gonna go. And you know what? If those werewolves bite me in the stream, I'm not gonna feel pain.
That's true.
I've chosen my no pain. And since you added the addendum of also no emotional pain, yeah, of course. Why would I not choose that?
But you could get a third of your life back if you go with sleep. You get a third of your life back.
No, it's fine.
I don't need it.
I don't need it. What am I going to be doing during that time? People are going to be like, jobs are going to be like, do things and annoying and like more time to overthink and be anxious. Like, nah.
All right. I mean, you're cool. Justin.
I'm going with pain.
Okay.
Sure. Fair enough. Feel no pain. I mean, neither of these are good options. They both look good. Neither of these are good. So if you're describing feel no pain, what you basically laid out, even with the cognitive like coda of like, you know better, is nerve damage. That's something that we all have to look forward to. But there are conditions whereby people are born without a pain threshold, and all they do is bruise because they just run into shit. It's a warning receptor, right? We need that. So as painful as it is, that's on its face of it. It's like, no, I'd rather have the deleterious effects. Because also, we're not talking about like a healing factor or invulnerability. It's just that we don't feel it. So if I punch a knife through the tip of my hand, I'm still going to bleed. I still have to dress it. And then I got to look at it. I don't have the pain sensors to it. Terrible way to live. The other part of it with no emotional pain, that's just, I'm a sociopath, because you cannot feel emotion without empathy. And if you don't have that, then you're a maniac who's also just covered in bruises. So that's not great. So given the option, I would go with never sleep, but I did think about it. And it was like, what if I never sleep? What would my day be like? And I kind of parsed out my day into chunks, and you would just take those 8 hours out and put in a couple more of the things that I'm already doing into those 2 extra slots. It's not much better. But that said, I would go with never sleep, because feel no pain is bad news. It's terrible news.
Okay.
And no emotional pain is in effect even worse. Everybody, feel your hurt. If you have it, feel it, own it.
Okay. Well, before I give my answer, I will. Chat's got a lot of opinions on this one. Joy saying she loves sleep so much, which I can attest to. Big fan of sleep. Michelle was asking, yes, there is no physical pain in this scenario. Anush, no pain. I'm getting better at sleep. I just want more chances to practice. I feel like you have practice every day, but good. I mean, do you not? Are you?
Every night's different, man. There's werewolves in Grandma's basement, dude.
That's true.
Everybody has a different swing.
That's true. And Anush is suggesting she would probably still waste a third waste of their life on overthinking things.
That's why that's my girl.
Right, but you could do like therapy at like 2 o'clock in the morning to work on that.
Let me put it to you like this: we've been locked up for 2 years. Did you do any of that?
I mean, no. I mean, I started therapy again recently, and
good. I mean, yes, fantastic. But if you could live, if you could live 24 hours a day, or could live immortal for the rest of your life, we're probably going to be pretty similar to the way that we are right now.
Fair. And Michelle wants to point out that she picks the cat.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fair. Rufus is he would very much like to join this conversation tonight. He's normally very chill during these, and he's decided he would like to get involved.
Okay.
I can guarantee you he does not
feels
pick
emotional pain.
Yes.
He feels emotional.
Well, he would never pick not sleep because he loves to sleep. So.
Okay. So chat seems to have come down pretty hard on the feel no pain thing. I'm going to go with the never sleep thing because like it's different for me now because right now I'm currently between jobs, so I have a lot of downtime to do whatever. But in situations where I don't have a lot of downtime, if I am working during the day, it's nice to have more than like the 2 hours at night where you're just like, I'm going to eat food and then go to bed kind of thing. So like I'm picturing a world where like then that frees me up to really like to make it so that things that are sort of hobbies don't necessarily have to be as much hobbies because you can actually like really put in that time to work on them as opposed to putting in that time when you're already dead asleep and you're just like, I can't do this. I need to go to bed. So I'm going to go with never sleep, which makes it a tie, but like we'll give it to feel no pain because the feel no pain people seem to be more passionate about it. And I think Justin and I, who came on the no sleep part, were basically doing it somewhat begrudgingly in a weird kind of way. So it looks like feel no pain wins. Which that is our last question of the day. Before you guys all run, I do want to specifically where is the thing? I do want to encourage people, if you're enjoying the show, to remember to subscribe to it and like the video because that helps us a ton. That lets other people know about it. Please do that. Which brings us to the end of our show. Justin, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people like sort of see whatever you got going on?
Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me. To the three of you, counting the cat. I'm on Instagram at MC Boring, and then guys, as I said to Dustin most recently, I'm doing bugger all. You guys have streaming shows? Let me know. I'm around. Right. I'm up here on the hill, and I'd love to see you.
Yeah, book them on your shows, people. Book them on your shows. And Heather, what about you?
I got nothing coming up this week. It's a quiet week, so it's gonna pet this cat, feed this cat, which I think is what the demand that's being asked.
Okay.
And I'm gonna enjoy my sleep. I'm gonna try to.
Cool. And you can follow me at DDATO on Instagram. I haven't posted in a long time, which is why I have not lost any followers, because I feel like a third of them are just like people who are going to follow, and then they'll unfollow me as soon as they find out that, as soon as I post something and they remember. And also, if you're around this Thursday, head on back to this channel because we are doing How Should I Know? And I want to show you guys our amazing cast of folks who are going to be on the show. We have Chris Bachnight, Tony DeFeo, and Megan Segru.
That's a star cast.
Yeah.
It's a star cast right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. I've got a bunch of really weird questions for them. So that about does it. Thank you guys so much for watching another show. We appreciate it. We appreciate all your comments. And if you're watching, as I said before, if you're watching online after the fact, put your comments in the comments and we will respond to them. We are excited to hear what people who are unable to watch live are talking about. We want to keep the conversation going afterwards. Yeah. So thank you guys. And thank you again, Justin, for being part of it. And we do hope to have you back.
Thank you. Let me know.
Thank you for.
I'll wait in the internet until I'm summoned.
Okay, awesome. Y'all have a good night.